This is Weaver's Beyond the Numbers Real Estate Podcast. I'm Rob Nowak, real estate industry tax partner with Weaver, and I'm joined as always by my partner and collaborator, Howard Altschuler, Weaver's partner in charge of real estate services. This weekend, Howard, you're going on a 100K bike ride in the Texas heat. I don't know why, but are you ready? Are you hydrated?
I am ready. I am hydrating. I am carb loading, but it's only going to be 92 on Saturday. So it'll be a pretty easy heat day for us.
Well, that's still hot. This podcast is obviously intended for informational and entertainment purposes. Nothing said here constitutes professional advice. If you have a question, call Weaver for help. You can go to weaver.com to find all of our content, white papers, live casts, and more. That's weaver.com. As you can see, our guest today, Theo Haugen from Unison, where he is the director of the home partnership team. You can check out Unison, that's UNISON.com, to learn more about Theo and his background. Theo, tell us about Unison and the home partnership team.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Howard. It's great to be here. And for anybody looking at the show notes, you might be a little confused because my name is spelled Theo. Well, that's because I'm originally from Norway, and that's just how we pronounce it. So clear up any confusion there. And so what Unison's doing is we're letting homeowners unlock their home equity without taking on additional debt. Basically, you can tap in your home equity without any monthly payments or interest. And what we're doing is we're investing in the home along with the homeowner, and then we're sharing in the future gain or loss when they decide to sell.
So how does someone get access to that equity working with you guys?
Well, the access part's pretty easy. Just go to unison.com and you can apply. And what's interesting is it's kind of a two-part thing here. So we're giving homeowners an ability to tap into their equity without taking on debt. But on the flip side, we're giving large investors access to residential real estate as an asset class for the first time, really.
Okay. And so when do you get paid back?
Well, it's long-term, right? So in the future, when the homeowner decides to sell, we're going to be sharing in the change of value. So, if you look at like sort of debt financing of your home, right? You would often, if you applied for a HELOC, you'd get like an appraisal, there's underwriting. And we do a similar thing, but that's where the similarities end, right? We're going to do an appraisal of your home, and that's going to set the starting value. And then in the future, when you sell, if it sells for more, we'll share in that increase. But if it sells for less, we're actually going to share in the decrease to the point where you may actually not even owe anything back. And that's one of the big differentiators, right? I mean, it's great and it's amazing. There's no monthly payments, there's no fixed interest rate, but more importantly, in some ways, we're actually risk sharing with the homeowner. Like a lender, obviously don't want your house to lose value, but if it does, you still owe them what you owe them, right?
Right.
In our case, we're sharing in that change with you.
It also seems like more of a partnership with the homeowner as opposed to what can be an adversarial relationship if you're dealing with a strict lender. So it seems like you have a vested interest, as you said, in making certain that that house maintains that value. So if they need some assistance, let's say, because there has been, a cash flow shortfall, loss of job, something like that, and they're having trouble servicing the existing debt, does Unison then, sort of help them, kind of repair that situation from a debt perspective? Talk to us about, sort of how that partnership works.
That's a great transition into like, why am I called the director of the home partnership team? And what it is we're actually asset management function for Unison. But when you think of asset management, I mean, that conjures up a certain type of thing, right? You're kind of thinking commercial real estate. But like you said, we have a vested interest in the property, in the homeowner. Like their financial success leads to our financial success and our investors as well. And so we're called the home partnership team because the way we manage the asset is by partnering with the homeowner, right? So for example, if we can do things that help the homeowner achieve their financial goals, avoid more debt, make better renovation decisions, and eventually sell their home for more money, they're going to make more money. We're going to make more money, and our investors are too. So you're right. It's not really adversarial. We succeed when the homeowners succeed as well.
All right. You mentioned renovation. I'm presuming that's a reason that someone would maybe want to come to you guys for unlocking some capital. But what are some of the other reasons that you see people coming to you guys to partner up?
Really, kind of the sky's the limit it could be to consolidate debt so that you can get off that debt treadmill. Because remember, we're not taking on more debt here. You're kind of doing equity financing.
Mhm.
So you can get out of some high interest rate debt, consolidate your finances. And we find that most of our homeowners see an improvement in their FICO over time. In addition, you could do renovations, like you said. And what's interesting too is it opens up some really interesting opportunities, because since we're risk sharing, you could take the money out and then maybe purchase an investment property, diversify into the stock market. If you have 80+% of your net worth tied up in your home, which many Americans do,
True.
getting that risk sharing, getting some equity out and redistributing it can be a really interesting proposition that some people do.
From a timing standpoint, how long does the process usually look for a homeowner? So by the time they reach out to you, they go through the website or they reach out to someone at Unison directly. How long from the time they make that application till the time they're funded do you think they can typically expect?
I'm not going to touch on that too much because it can vary. It'll depend on like how quickly they give documents and whatnot, but it can be quite fast. It can take, over 30 days sometimes, just depending on what's going on. But what's really interesting too is that once you're funded and you have the investment, it's a little different from like the lender relationship, because again, we're not debt, and the agreement lasts, up to 30 years or until you sell. And in that time, right, we're with you the whole time. If you have something that creates financial instability for you, like you get saddled with some medical debt suddenly, a really common problem in America, you can reach out to us. And you might be wondering, what does medical debt have to do with asset management for residential real estate, right? But again, we're helping people, succeed financially, which helps them maintain their home, pay their mortgage. So people often don't know what their options are, and they can reach out to us, and we encourage it to say, hey, you've got this financial event like major credit card debt, or in this case, medical debt. We can help them work through their options. People often don't know what's available. They might think, oh, I'm going to pay it off my credit card.
Yeah.
That's usually not a good idea, because you lose a lot of great options for dealing specifically with medical debt. If we can help direct homeowners to resources to better understand their options, again, that helps them achieve their financial goals, helps them succeed, helps us succeed, and helps our investors succeed as well.
So last
Cool.
question, we're about to wrap up, Howard. We got about 60 seconds. Final question for Theo. I'll give you last crack.
All right. Theo, where do you guys operate? Do you have any geographical restrictions or any areas that you like best?
Well, we're basically creating an index of homes across America. And at this point, we're in over 30 states in DC, and we'll continue to expand. But yeah, we're not betting on individual homes. We don't particularly like a place better. We're betting on the housing market, right? We're looking for broad diversification, again, to basically make an index of homes across America.
Very cool.
Great. And that's going to be our show for today. We want to thank Theo for being our guest. As always, we've got the official Weaver podcast sticker going out. Although now, after seeing that collection of Hawaiian shirts, we may have to make official Weaver podcast Hawaiian shirts. I love
Sign me up.
Visit weaver.com to download this episode. You can also find us on Spotify and iTunes. Please help the show grow. You can follow us, like us on LinkedIn. Certainly follow Theo on LinkedIn. For more thought leadership podcasts, livecast, white papers, and more, you can go to weaver.com. That's weaver.com. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Theo. Thanks, Rob.